everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Once again, Wednesday night for me. I'm guessing for you it might be a very different time. As Michael just said, I got an email from him that he wrote Ilford directly saying that he was concerned about the distribution in the US, and they answered him that for big stores like B&H it was fine, and that probably smaller stores maybe, it doesn't say this in the email, but it kind of implies that probably smaller stores in the US will have maybe a little hiccup, but nothing big. So yeah, just so you guys know, if you're in the US and you need film and for any chance your local store doesn't have any because of this little hiccup, just make sure you can buy it from B&H, Adorama, probably big stores like that. So if you guys are in that situation, that's good to know. Thanks, Michael, for writing me. I haven't had the second to answer you, so I'll just say thank you here, and we can keep on going from there. This week is the first week I haven't had any questions for Svein, which I'm guessing he's being busy and hasn't, but I did post a video today that giving my opinion about how I've seen a trend with the whole shooting film might be not better, but like justifying the film just because it's shot on film, you know, a picture, it will be better. Giving my opinion, I recommend you guys watch it. I'm sure some people agreed, some people disagree, but I would like to know what you guys think. Hi, Lathan. Nice to see you here today. Also, I had a viewer and supporter of the channel, Hal, asked me that he bought some HC 110. Don't know if because of me or not, because that's my developer. And he wanted to know more about it because he developed and found it very contrasty. Developer. There's a website that's like the unofficial website of HC 110, which I'm looking now. Formulas. I'm trying to find it on. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna copy and paste it for you guys. I don't know if you're live right now, but if you are, sticking it here so you can see it, and I'll stick it later on the description of the video. Let's see. Hello, Svein. It's a shame about the distributor, and it's a major shame for small shops, Lathan says, but maybe losing a middleman will improve the profits for them. I'm guessing the middleman does that, like it probably does that service of, you know, distributing the smaller quantities and different things like that. And maybe it makes more money for Ilford, but maybe it is a lot of more work. So I don't know if they still will be finding something. I'm sure they'll end up finding someone like B&H or someone like Cat Labs or something like that to take care of a smaller distribution. Hi, Hogarth. Hi, Evian. Yeah, back on YouTube. For those who missed it, I'm back officially on YouTube Live since August 21st, even though I think I didn't go live that day. And I won't be going on Instagram for the time being just because I can't save the video and then post it. I have to record it and it's a pain. So yeah, this is much easier for me to set up. I can let people know that I'm going live and everyone gets to see it that's subscribed, and not, I guess they'll see it on my Instagram if I mention it. But going back to the HC110 website, it's covingtoninnovations.com, HC110. This hasn't been updated since 2012. So if you are a big fan of, yeah, last revision, 2012, January 19th, the date of Kodak's bankruptcy filing. So that's an interesting date. This website has a bunch of formulas, different secret formulas and delusions and things like that. Monobath for one HC110. It has unusual uses, how to find unknown developing times, temperature compensation depending if you're developing with more heat or not. Here it mentions something about the European and the non-European version, because there's like a syrup and a non-syrup something. I have to say, even though I can't find it now, at least in Europe, it's all the same as in the States, as far as I've seen. So Yeah, that's where you find how, if you want to know a formula for HC 110 and you don't want it so to contrasty, try lowering the dilution, or I guess making it higher. So instead of 132, go for 163, and it'll give you longer developing time, but it'll be compensating a bit more. It won't be so contrasty. And also, he developed at 24 degrees, which is sometimes warmer, but it'll bring a bit more contrast. Leighton says, I am surprised B&H wasn't the American sole distributor. I'm guessing that when it was probably there distributing something smaller, maybe B&H just doesn't want to take care of that. I don't know if B&H is a distributor for anything. I know he's a retail, but I don't know if he distributes. Analog Adventure, which is Spain, has said, have you heard about the book Flavor 1+1? They have one video on YouTube from April comparing ISO 400 color negative film, advertising their book about different film stocks. I haven't seen it. I don't know if I can open that right now being on YouTube, because my computer will just lag going live stream. But I'll check it out. I'm gonna take a screenshot so I remember to check this out. There you go. I'll check it out and I'll let you guys know for the next live stream about that. But there's a lot of videos, and I've seen another comparison the other day on all the ISO 400 black and white. And it's very hard to say when you read articles like these, because they all go through the scanner, and scanners, depending on what your scanner you're using, depending on how you developed it, depending on many things, you can't really give a good comparison. I mean, I've heard all kinds of things online, and I think the best way to do it would be a proper darkroom, you know, on the same paper, same developing time, same gray cards, shooting the film stocks and doing something like that. Very scientific. That's what I would mean. So I'm curious to see what you just said, Svein. I'll check it out. But yeah, I'm always a little not so optimistic on the reviews and comparisons of different films, because I always feel there's some kind of like half and half on the reality, because people either use a bad scanner, or they don't know how to scan, or their monitors are not calibrated and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll check it out. Jacob says, hi Nico, do you have any experience in digitalizing of negatives using digital camera, especially in combination with anti-Newton ring glass? No, Jacob, all I have is experience with my phone, taking pictures on my darkroom when I'm curious to see what could be. I invert my screen and I go through it, but that's my only way to do like a fast contact print on the moment. I do know a lot of people are doing it. I said in the news that Nikon announced the D850 or something like that with a special program inside that'll invert, and that's something people are like, yeah, you can scan with this. I think it has like 50 megapixels or something. But no, I'm not good with that. I don't know how to do it. Even though in the studio, one of the partners does have a larger column that he bought for reproduction, and his idea is to try to scan some 4x5 with his digital camera. And if I see it looks good, I might talk about it. I'm not very much into it, and I don't know anything about stitching on Photoshop and so on. So if I think it's worth mentioning, I'll do a video. Maybe I'll feature him doing it, because it's not what I know about. But I'll let you guys know. So sorry I can't help Jacob. Leighton says it does say about it Euro being different, because I wasn't sure what I bought. And it seems now it's only syrup. Make sure it's warm before trying to syringe it. I don't really use the syringe with the HC110. Hao joined us. Hi, Hao. I just pour it. If you look at some of my vlogs back in the day, I think there's one that I developed 34 sheets, or one of those that you can see. I just pour it in a little little tube, and I measure 16 milliliters, and from then I just pour it. The only thing I do is I do put water and kind of shake it out, because it does stick to the little beaker. But I'm fine, even though my darkroom is usually pretty warm. So I'm guessing if you have a cold darkroom or cold kitchen or whatever you develop, or bathroom, you might want to have it warm. Hao says Kodak has a PDF about HC110. It has 2 tables for developing times. One for stock dilution, one for concentrate. I'm a little confused about that one. How? I'm gonna give you a recommendation. Instead of checking the PDF about Kodak, which might be outdated, or maybe if you grab the bottle, I don't have a bottle here, but I'll grab this lens, which has no lens caps. When you grab a bottle, you'll see the sticker where it has the instructions. It says Kodak, blah, blah, blah. If you look, you'll be able to peel that label, and it'll have like pages in it. So go through those pages till you find the proper dilution and the temperature and everything for that bottle you have. That way you'll know that that is probably the latest information, if there's been any changes, or if your product is European or not. Or more of a concentrate or not. If there is still a difference, which I doubt there is, just check it out. You just have to peel it. You'll see it has like a little corner. I think it's a little white, and there you peel it, and it's like little leaves in an onion, like the layers in an onion, and you can check out different formulas and times, and it gives you little information that's very practical. That happens with most of the chemistry. I think Ilford does it too. I think other Kodak products do too, and the label has the information. So if you guys ever have doubt and you think the PDF you read online or a massive developing chart sounds crazy, just remember you can peel and check if there's any instructions. I don't have any chemicals here right now at home, so I can't show you, but I'll try to remember and show you that. And if not, how, just send me an email with a PDF and I'll see if I can help you out and we can figure out what's going on with that. Analog Adventure, the only film that's possible compare is probably C41 or E6. The easiest film always to check results and compare is always being E6 because it's a positive film. So you can straight up put in a light table and be like, okay, this is more saturated, this has more grain, this has more latitude or anything like that. I think that's the best way. A lot of people, when they used to print Cyberchrome or do editorials back in the day, it was always E6 because they could check the results straight on a light table and see. Many people would actually develop during the photo shoots and compare. But yeah, every time you're developing and scanning a C41, whatever scanner and software you use is going to use a different algorithm to eliminate the orange mask, and it'll give you different results. So it's very hard. I mean, even if you're printing, if you grab C41 and you're printing color, if you're grabbing Kodak paper or Fuji paper, you have to compare the same. At the end, you have to keep all the variables to be the same with all the films you're using, so you can give an accurate response of, I use Kodak Portra 160 developed in Tetanol chemistry C41, this time temperature, this time on a Jobo or not, and you print your, I mean, it just has to be very exhaustive. I mean, how do you say, meticulous. So yeah, that's what I think. Jacob says, thanks, the same setup I am using, Repro column plus enlarger lens. Excuse me, someone's calling my house. Oh, wait. Can you fucking call my dad? I'll call you later. Sorry, my father calling the house. Jacob is saying the same setup. I am using Repro column plus enlarger lens. Yeah, I mean, I actually have a macro lens from Canon that I use for my videos, and I might try out something like it just to show if it works for me. But there's a lot of tutorials out there. Everyone's doing one every other week. You see Petapixel, f-stoppers, casual photophile, photoblographer. All these every now and then make a video on or an article about scanning with your DSLR. And now that Nikon came out with that, I'm sure we'll see more. But I can't really help at the moment. Michael says, how I think you'll find the answer here. But I don't know if he means by me or on something he said. Jacob says there are 2 stocks of HC110. The formula for 0.5 liters is different to larger bottle as far as I know. I meant different concentration. Hal says, oh, I see it. Right at the right bottom. I haven't reached the end. That's why I'm wondering why they don't include the instructions. My bottle is 1 liter. The only bottle I know that's left HC110 is 1 liter. Let me check it out. HC110. At least here in Europe, all you can find is 1 liter. Yep. In the States, the same thing. So I don't know if there's any, or maybe there used to be a smaller bottle. But I'm looking at B&H right now. I think they can't ship this anymore. They do ship 1 liter bottle. So yeah, let's see where we were. How says my bottle is 1 liter. Michael says how most people don't recommend diluting one first time and storing and then re-diluting that solution. Just use the syrup straight from the bottle. It's easier and better shelf life. Yeah, that's what I do. I keep the bottle, even the Kodak bottle, I just use the syrup and I dilute it every single time, and I do 1 shot. I use I think it's 11 minutes for HP5 at 1600, 20 degrees on my Jovo, but let's hope you get a better result next time. He was telling me his shots were too contrasty. Surreal Boy says, Nico, do you know when is Ektachrome going to be available in Spain? I wrote Kodak and they told me that Ektachrome is supposed to be coming the last quarter of this year. That's coming up soon, but as far as I know, that could be the 31st of December too. So as soon as it comes available, it probably will be on every single blog, forum, Facebook page and everything. And I'll let you guys know. But so far, no news. They said everything was going as planned, basically, which I hope is good. Hogger says, by the way, in your news today, you commented on how the new film scanner thing, would it work on alt cameras? That's a good question. I've been wanting to write Nikon USA because usually Nikon, and when you write, at least in Spain, companies don't answer. But in the US, they tend to have a good structure and answer. And I mean to ask them if that will work. I was looking at that. It was the Nikon ES2, I think. Let's see what it looks like. It's just there's no picture of the other side. Okay, it says here, answering to Hogarth, convert film to digital files. Holders for 35mm strip, film strips and slides for use with the AFS micro 60mm 2.8 lens. Ideal for the D850 negative digitalizer mode. So it says ideal, but doesn't mean you can't use it. It's $139. It says top seller, even though it's not on sale yet. I guess that's not true. So yeah, they say ideally on the D850 because you can invert it straight in the camera. I think the best is probably using normal shot, putting on a Photoshop, using inverting software. There's a program for inverting in Photoshop that works pretty well. Okay, sorry, I'm catching up on you guys' comments, which today is extremely popular, which I love, guys. How says, Michael, I see my D76 also wears out very fast after a few weeks after diluted. But yeah, D76 mix and use the next day. I never stored it too long. It died on me a few times. Hogarth says, it totally will. The D850 just auto inverts the colors. Yeah, that's exactly. The Barbas says, what is a wide angle lens in 6x12? So if you don't know, normal lenses are usually considered the diagonal of the format. So 6x12 is like half of a 4x5. So I would say around a 75 is a normal lens on 6x12, which that just sounds wrong. It can't be. Probably like 100mm is a normal lens on 6x12. So I'm guessing maybe longer, sorry. Like a 135, 120 should be normal. So around 90mm or shorter should be wide angle on 6x12. I have a 6x12 with a 45, and it's extremely wide. I think it's the widest they made. And a 7265 is a great wide for a 6x12. Michael says, sorry, the address didn't go through. Google Miranchuk HC110. Yeah, when you guys post links, I think YouTube cancels them as if it was spam. So sorry, you're gonna have to give like exactly like you said the words to find it. How says the label has many layers, so that's why I couldn't find the developing table. It does have a lot of layers. Hogarth, yeah, that's what I was getting at. You can use it on any camera, really. Thorpe Lyons says, I have a 4x5 crown graphic, no focal plane shutter, and I'd like to start experimenting with old barrel lenses. Do you have experience with using a Packard shutter? Barba says, thanks. I've never used a Packard shutter. I have been wanting, as like you, to try barrel lenses, old stuff. But I got a Cinar Kobo shutter, or Cinar shutter, no, DB shutter, sorry. And I have a Graflex that does have the focal plane shutter, so I've been using that to do my testing when I shot with my Aero Ektar and stuff like that. The Packard shutters, they say they work well. I mean, there's not much you can control, but Reinhold ultra large format lenses. I'm looking for something to give you a reference. There's this website, and I think he makes shutters. Here it is. Okay, so this guy makes ultra large format lenses and Packard shutters. Pretty good resource to have. I actually really like his website. Let me know if the link shows, guys, because I'm guessing if they block your links, they should block mine. Maybe not, because I'm the guy that's hosting. But yeah, Packard shutters work on pressure, so it's kind of like not so consistent. The 6 Packard shutter features 2 modes. Inserting a special pin yields a consistent 1/25th second exposure. Removing the pin reverts the shutter to 5 mode, fully manual timing. If you guys don't know, Packard shutters, you kind of press a bulb and it opens and closes like a little, shutter on the lens. And depending on how fast or how slow, it'll be faster or slower. I think this is a pretty cool thing to use. I one day want to get one and test it out for you guys. But yeah, no experience, so sorry, Thorpe Lyons. Game Bra says 10-minute to develop. Also, Thorn Lions, the shutter click that I gave you, the link has a link to YouTube. Maybe you can see some of his videos on YouTube, and he can help you out with that. Also, if you got any questions in the large format forum, there's also a lot of information. And don't feel bad to ask something you think has been answered before. They'll tell you, but still, just keep on asking. They're a little sometimes special in that forum, but there's a lot of good information, a lot of people that know a lot. Game Bra says 10 minutes to develop HP5 with HC110. Damn, I've been doing 5 ISO 400. Gainsbra, I've been doing 11 minutes because I pushed to 1600. I do 5 minutes for ISO 400. So if I didn't say that, sorry. I don't develop for that long for ISO 400. It's for ISO 1600, which is what I push my HP5 in 35. Jacob says, I've checked it, HC110 has 0.5 liter bottle. It's different concentrate, but I'm not sure they're in their market yet. I would say in their market still, because HC110's been out there forever. I do know there was a trouble that they canceled some stuff with the HC, and I think it might have been the 0.5 liter. Thorpe says, fabulous, and the link came through, so the links work. Thanks to know your links. Okay, good to know. Just when I find these resources and I send them to you guys, I want to make sure that you get them. I should see if I can save them, so then I post them on the description, so whoever watches this later can find the links because these comments disappear. I wish YouTube would fix that. It's really sad. Let's see that it doesn't. I'm just taking screenshots of that. Someone asked me on one of these live streams, was like, okay, I really missed that in the live streams before when I was on Instagram on my phone, I could see the comments. That was, I was doing a 2-camera setup. I had one pointing at me, one pointing at my phone, and then I merged it on the computer and uploaded it. But that can be done through YouTube. If you guys really want it, I think there's some kind of software I can pay for and it can be done. And I'll look it up, but it just doesn't justify the cost for having the comments. That's why I read every single comment out. So you guys watch it or listen to it. A lot of people are writing me saying they listen to the podcast, or sorry, the video live stream as a podcast, which I think is really nice, as it's only me and this great painting behind me. Leighton says, I was sure the 0.5 liter was discontinued. The 1 liter syrup is the one available. I could be wrong. That's exactly what I think happened, Leighton. I also remember this happening a few years back. The Barbas says, what do you think is the best film, Fomapan 400 or Tri-X, in your opinion? I'm going to go with, I would say the general rule is the Tri-X is probably one of the best black and white films, 400 speed. HP5, I think, is probably up there too. If you ask 100 photographers, it'll be like a 55-45, I think, Tri-X HP5. Fomapan 400, I think, doesn't get as much love as it gives a bit more grain. I actually shoot it on 4x5 because it's cheap and it works pretty good. And I've had great results with it, especially for contact prints. So I was shooting with a travel wide for a project, and I did contact prints pushing Fomapan 400 to 1600, and it worked great. So I don't see any reason not to. And I would just buy 10 of each, or if you can, or 5 of each, and try them for yourself. Maybe you like a Fomapan on the chemistry you use and your conditions. Wait, someone's knocking on the door. Sorry, guys. I guess today is the day of interruptions. My wife forgot the keys. Okay, Leighton says, but what I was saying, sorry, Fomapan and Tri-X. Yeah, just test it out. I would say test it out. They do say Fomapan 400 truly doesn't have a 400 speed. So check to see if maybe you want to expose it as 320 or 250 and develop it as the normal time to get better, less grain and better tones out of it, which is pulling the film, basically. Leighton says, out of the 2, Tri-X only because I have had some quality issues with Fomapan. I do like the film, though. HP5 all the way at the moment. I have bulk load. Yeah, I do HP5 for everything. It's not as expensive as Tri-X, and it's, I think, just as good in my experience, which doesn't mean it's, you know, the rule or anyone else's experience. But HP5 it is for me, except for 4x5, which I'm just shooting Fomapan because it's like half the price of HP5, and I'm having a blast with it because I'm shooting a lot of that. Hogarth says, was it your dad? No, this time it was my wife. Sorry, guys. Berger Pancro 400 is an awesome film too. Yeah, Berger came out with the Pancro 400, first in sheets, then in rolls, 35 and 120. I still haven't tried it, but I've heard it's really nice. So if you maybe want to test it out, price-wise, here in Europe, it's more expensive than HP5, so I haven't tried it because of that. But it's probably cheaper than HP5. Tri-X, sorry. Thorpe lines, I've been playing with a couple of old Graflex SLRs in 2x3 and 3x4 formats. Any hints for scanning those odd sizes of negatives without proper film holders? Thorpe lines, I haven't done it yet, but I did that video cleaning my scanner because my idea is to try to start scanning large format straight on the glass of the Epson scanners, the V700, V750, blah, 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 because they're all pretty much the same. Because I have a friend, online friend, I wish I could meet him because it looks like an amazing guy, called Tariq Taray. I mentioned him before here, and he scans like that. And you can check his Instagram. It's Tariq with a Q, Taray with a Y at the end, EY. And he does amazing just scanning like that. So hit him up if you need any help. He'll be happy to help you for sure. And just scan on the glass, and he does great. Hal says, Foma Pan's contrast is pretty nice, but the grain is quite rough. It's true, but it's cheap, so I usually use it. Same thing here. Cheap, but good enough for especially sheet film. Simple PC guides. Anyone ever use a Petzval lens? I haven't used Petzval lenses. For those who don't know, even though now it's famous for the lomography campaign, Petzval lenses are these lenses that kind of give a swirl around the center, out of the center. So you'll get like a sharpish middle shot, and then the outest will look like a hurricane, which is not a joke right now because there's a huge hurricane going in Miami. But it kind of looks like it's swirling all like that. And they're usually fast lenses and used for collodion nowadays, but I have never tried it out. I do want to get myself something that will cover the formats that I shoot in 8x10 and 11x14. And with that CNR shutter, try to see what I can get, but no experience. Maybe someone does simple PC guides. Sorry, I read your names, guys. If your guys' channel or name is weird, it sounds weird. Not that I mind, but it's just interesting. Michael says, the Barbas, you can look up Tri-X on Foma 400 and Flickr. I was disappointed with Foma 400, but that might be because people shooting it don't know how to shoot. Foma 100 is terrific though. I do think it has a lot to do with people maybe buying the first film they trying Foma Pan 400 and shooting it and developing it themselves. But I think it's not that horrible. I think the bigger the film, the more forgiving. So in 35, Foma Pan 400 might not be as great, but in 4x5, what I used is worked great. And 8x10, I've used Foma 100, which is also terrific, just like Michael said. Hogger says, HP5 is cheaper than Burger, but the Burger is so smooth. That's a good point. That happens to me with Acros, and used to happen with me with Neopan 400. It was just so smooth. It was like the tonal range was just so nice and full of grays and details. And I love that film. I have 20 rolls in my freezer, which I should shoot of Neopan. Michael Howe says, Michael, I agree. Foma 100, same as Arista 100 is great. Yeah, for you guys in the US, Freestyle rebrands Fomapan as Arista Edu. If it's Arista, it had another name, Arista Premium or Arista. It was Tri-X, but that's long gone. Even though this week I saw from Key Glass, I'm forgetting the name. The store in San Francisco just got a bunch of it, of the old Tri-X rebranded by Freestyle. Castmate, no, it's more than Tri-X, but I think in North America too. I'm guessing the prices. Probably, yeah. Analog Adventure, do you think it's worth to buy a new glass top for my V800? I have a scratch on the glass itself right in the middle, so it affects every single image I scanned, but bet it costs as much as a new used. Is it on the glass on the bottom glass or the top glass? If it's the bottom glass, I recommend you contact Epson. Maybe they do sell different parts, or better scanning maybe can make you one or sells them. That's what I would try before buying a whole new V800. Oh, you're asking buy a new glass. If they sell the glass, I would get it. If it does show on every single image, I would. Gain Bra says, do you know any bulk color film? Want to try color? Give color a try. I do know that Mike Padua got a bunch of color. I think he got Superia 400. But no, nowadays bulk color only comes for cinematography. So you can buy that kind of CineStill stuff, the 500T, 250D, and all that. But it has the remjet, and you have to remove it and whatnot. Edu Paviz has a few videos on it and interesting about shooting CineStill kind of stuff. Not the official CineStill though, cinematography film stock. Simple PC guides, all right, thanks for answering my question, man. I love the Petzval lenses, great quality, especially the Lomo ones, but very expensive if you aren't rich. The Lomo ones I haven't really seen more than the Kickstarter, but I'm sure you'll be great trying. Try to get some real Petzval, the old ones, which are amazing. It's just all the people doing wet plate have, picked them up and raised the prices a lot. Hogarth says on B&H $479 for HP5, $598 for Burger, $599 for Tri-X. Well, there you go. Burger's cheaper than Tri-X for a cent. But yeah, HP5 for me. And I remember HP5 being cheaper than that, but they've been rising prices. Ilford was bought by investor group or something like that, and ever since it's like slowly gone up. Bottom glass, yes. So yeah, Spain, see if you can change it. I would write Epson. If you can't get an answer in Epson where you're at, try Epson, different countries, UK, Epson, France, Germany, stuff like that. And if not USA, see if they'll help you out. The Barba says, I live in Portugal and the Kodak Tri-S cost $590 and HP5 costs $549. So I can buy one or the other. They're almost the same price. The Barbas, I live in Spain. Nice to see another Iberico here. Let me see photo. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a store. He's a friend of mine, but it didn't start as a friend. It started as me being a client, and then we became friends. He distributes Spain and Portugal. Sorry for the guys that are not involved in Portugal. I'm just gonna try to see if I can help this guy out. I'm looking at 120. I don't know if you're talking about 120, but let's see what the price is. Ilford HP5 is $480 in 120 at this store, and Tri-X is $630, which is more expensive. And then in 35, I'll tell you the store right now. 35 in this store is, sorry, I'm navigating the store, which has a weird distribution. If you buy, it's $540 for 35 and HP5, and Tri-X is $620. And you were saying, let me see, $540. Yeah, the Barbas, it's called Fotocarrete. And he gives special prices if you buy more than 10, I think. But check it out. If you're in Portugal, maybe it's interesting for you. He does have great prices for chemistry and so on. Jacob says, what is your favorite film format that are using most of the time? Okay, so probably right now, 90% of the time I shoot 35, and I shoot it on either the Leica M2 or on the Contax at this very moment. But because I have two little girls that run around like crazy, and that's the only thing I can shoot to try to get something in focus, I shoot at 1600. That's because I use hyperfocal for focusing. The other 8% of the time, I would say I shoot medium format. So I do portraits of my kids when they are a bit more chilled, usually on the weekend mornings. 120, my favorite film format, if I had to choose one overall, is 6x7. And then the other 2% is large format, which is whenever I can, and I have something that's worth spending that money. Let me see. Thorpe Lions, every time I scan directly on the glass of my Epson V800, I get Newton rings. We'll definitely check out Tariq. Yeah, he doesn't get them, and don't ask me how he does it. But he did do FaceTime with me and showed me in live, and it was amazing. So I recommend you. Great guy. Leighton says it's gone up here in the UK when the pound tanked. Prices have fallen a bit now. I just paid £33 for 17 meters of HP5. Yeah, I buy the 30-meter bulk rolls of HP5 in the States, and they went from like 49 to like 57 in a few years. So they have gone up. The Barbas, I will have more quality if I use Kodak Tri-X in 200 ASA or 100 ASA, or the difference will be only the grain. If you pull Tri-X, you will have smoother grays. It won't be so contrasty. You also will have less grain, but don't pull it to 100. Pull it to 250 or so. There's a lot of information online. Just start reading Tri-X 400 and pulling, and you'll see different people give you different formulas depending on the chemistry and the agitation and so on. But I have a good friend, I've got some of his pictures here on my right, which you guys can't see, who shoots HP5 in 120 all the time and always exposes it, I think at 250 or at 200, and develops in pyro. And his prints are stunning. No grain, tons of details, no blown out highlights, no blacks that are just muddy, really good. So do check out pulling. River says, well, thanks a lot, Barba said. River says, does anyone have experience fabricating or 3D printing negative carriers for obscure, not very popular enlargers? Durst M370. I don't have any experience in printing negative carriers. I would say you would probably need it to be very flat, so maybe you want to sand it after. Negative feedback just joined. Nice to see you, George. But there is a company in Germany that will make negative carriers for any kind of enlarger, and it's Kienzle. He will probably not be super cheap, but he is really good. Let's see, Kienzle enlarger. I'm out with a few clients because Spanish is not their language, but you can check it out and ask them if you need anything there. They will provide measurements, and they will probably make you a negative carry. But as I said, it won't be cheap. So if you can 3D print it, probably will be interesting. The Barras, glad that helps that you like the store. If you do go and buy something and there's a comment or phone number, tell him I sent you, because he's a good friend and he'll be happy to see a new client. River, thank you. That sounds great. Yeah, negative film carriers for weird cameras. I mean, enlargers. The problem I would see with 3D printing is if your enlarger will heat up a lot, you don't want that to be plastic. So I would, because every single enlarger always comes out with metal. So I wouldn't make it plastic, but maybe you can make something like that. Analog Adventure says, what sort of videos are coming up to your channel? Can you give us any hints? I have a lot of, are you asking me, I'm guessing, but because George joined. But I have a few ideas of things. I actually today was setting up a little route of what I want to do. I'm going to keep up doing the news and the live streams every week, and I want to see if I can make more bi-weekly videos. I'm going to bring back the brochures, which I've stopped for a little bit, even though I have a bunch of brochures to show you guys. I'm going to bring back the film loading, because I have a lot of different cameras now that I can keep on featuring and showing people, which I think is a great resource. It's a little library. I know some people don't like those videos, but it's always very useful if you buy a new camera and you're Googling how to load that weird brand or weird format or weird film into your camera to find a YouTube video that's fast and easy to understand. Because sometimes people put them on the reviews, and the review might be 17 minutes, and the how to load it might be in the middle. I just like having little videos sometimes of things like that. So those two are coming back. Then I want to try to do once a month different video, something a bit more, how would you say it? Something different, maybe a proper review on a camera, maybe do interviews to other photographers. I've just got a whole rig to try to interview people so I can walk around with my camera on my shoulder, because I've always been doing tripod and, you know, how do you say, still video or static video shots. And so hints, yeah, there's stuff like that coming. I did open a Spanish video channel because people have been asking for that, and I'll be doing stuff there. If there's something that I think is worth bringing to the English one, I'll bring it over. But the idea was try to have like different publics and different videos depending on what I was doing. Haga says you should pivot to just making this a cooking channel. Actually, between what Svein asked and Hogarth asked or said, there will be something coming up in that line, but it won't be cooking exactly, but it has something to do with cooking. That I can't say. I can't give much hints, but you kind of hit it there, Hogarth. House says new studio, new darkroom, and new zine. Can't wait. Yeah, I went to a photo zine, how do you call it, little workshop in my town here, and I learned how to do zines. It was fun. And I hope to try to do a proper zine, but I want to make it like the low, I want to say, yeah, I guess like low quality, or like, you know, small photocopy books and stuff like that. Some of my work, I'll make prints and see if I can scan them, no, photocopy them. So I'll be doing maybe a little zine, but it's going to be totally hardcore underground kind of zine. It won't be anything fancy done by a printer or anything like that. I don't think I have the public. I don't think my work is yet there, but there will be something coming up. And I don't know if I'll make a video about making zines, but I'm not an expert. But maybe I'll just tell you my story about how I made them, which might be useful. River says a cooking channel, film soup recipe. It's not that, but I won't say. Layton says, I have to admit, I would like to see more of the new darkroom and studio. I might have missed previous videos. There hasn't been much of the new studio because I basically left for a whole month. I had bought my tickets to go before I had the studio. I would have never gone for so long if I knew I had that to build. But there will be an updated version, Studio Tour 2.0. Soon enough. It's right now the studio is a total mess because I had to move everything for the photo shoot for friends and whatnot. But I will make a little bit more videos of how it's going on, developing. I'm going to make a special shelf that's going to work as storage, lighting, backdrop, and so forth. And I guess I'll show you guys, even though it's more of a woodworking kind of video, but I think some people like seeing different solutions. And then the darkroom on the top, I will show how I make the sink, how I make the enlarger tables, the lighting, why I chose how to do. I'm going to make a film dryer cabinet. I'll make a video on how I approach that, and things like that. So there will be more of that. Also, I'm going to have I made a desk for digital scanning. Well, scanning, I guess it's always digital if you're scanning. And I'll make tutorials there with friends that know how to scan, and that way I'll learn and you guys can learn. And yeah, there's going to be a bit of everything. I'm going to be all over the place this year, but I enjoy it like that. Analog adventure, I would love to see more from your new darkroom. I am just tipping my toes in the darkroom, so I'll try to soak up everything out there from darkroom work. Yeah, the darkroom, you'll see, guys. You'll get more darkroom. It's just I have to finish it. So this weekend, my wife is taking care of the kids, and I'm going full-on darkroom mode to build it, not to work printing, sadly. Stuart says, factory tour videos of Europe or UK film manufacturers would be of interest. Stuart, I'm totally for it, and I've contacted a few brands, and they're pretty positive about it. My main problem is income. As you guys know, doing these kind of videos takes a lot of time, which I'm fine with. But if I have to travel, it takes a lot of money plus the time. And then it's when it gets harder to justify. I went to Photokina and I screwed up the whole week of interviews, even though I learned a lot, especially about how not to record with a bad microphone. But I will try to do things like that, slowly but surely, doing things that are different, that are not seen on other channels or YouTube or websites. Jacob says, mixing of chemicals, maybe. I won't say about the whole thing. Hogger says, hey, all you jokesters, donate to Nico's Patreon. 17 people watching, $5 a month. That's almost $100. Yeah, I have a Patreon. I've never really said much about it, but yeah, if you guys want to help me out, I'm very happy. Hogger does help me, and a few other very generous people help me. I'm gonna be making a video. You guys were asking about support. I've never said anything about subscribing or whatever. I don't think it's necessary. Everyone is grown up enough to know. But I will be making a video probably in a month or so talking about support, and not necessarily economical support, but I'll leave it there. And I hope you guys enjoy it, because I think it's important to a lot of people creating, not only me, but photographers or videographers or mix, like I would say, I guess I am right now, about entertainment support and other things from the community. And I think it'd be fun. So those are kind of the videos you'll see. And as Stuart was saying there, I will try my best to do things like that. I try to mix like some kind of holiday with something like it. There's one that I'm very eager to do, but I haven't been able to given permission from the manufacturer yet, even though they said yes, but not yet. So with the moment they say yes, I'm buying a flight and I'm going over and I'm filming history behind the scenes, all I can get out of that trip. So you guys will see that hopefully maybe before summer next year, because these things go slow. Let's see. Thorpe says, negative feedback. Thank you, George, for the donation. Make a collab with negative feedback. I do have to make a collab with you guys. I want to find a date to go see you guys and make a video and do something there. You're a busy guy and I'm a busy guy, so we have to figure it out. Let's see. Thorpe says, I have a lot of FP100C film packs left. Aside from my Polaroid cameras, what proper camera would you recommends to use with a Polaroid back to get full coverage of the Polaroid frame? Thorpe, use your Graflex. Did you say something about Graflex? I'm so a mess. Use large format. Polaroid holder 405. I'm not dyslexic, only a little bit. And you use the whole frame. You can do movements, you can shoot portraits, you can shoot landscape. I love portraits on FP100C. I've done a few of my kids, white background, shooting on that. You use the full frame of the film, and it's amazing. So go for that. Stuart says Intrepid. I would love to go see Intrepid. They've actually offered me, so I should go there. Jacob says, what's the largest darkroom print you ever made? Jacob, it was a 16 by 20 of a shot done with a Hasselblad SWC of a Miami building. And I made it, I sent it to a gallery, which we were doing a friend thing, and it never seen it again. So I'm sad to say that's the biggest, and I've only seen it when I finished it, and that was it. Thorpe says, the RB67 almost covers the whole frame. I think the GX680 will cover the whole frame. No, 6x9 is the whole frame. I recommend large format or the land cameras if you're going to shoot FP100C. A collab on large format would be great. I want to do collaborations. The problem is usually that I live in Spain and everyone else lives pretty far away. I will try to get negative feedback to see if we can find some dates and we can make a video together or interview or whatever it is that comes out of there. You guys maybe never heard, but I met George, Louis, Aslan, everyone on a film and beer in London, and I love the team. I've always been a big fan of what they do, and I support how they do it and how they're taking it into proper paper and exhibits, which is great. So I would love to feature them, or I'm featured in their channel. It'd just be fun to do. Thorpe says, P.S. I'm one of your Patreon supporters. Thank you, Thorpe. With your names, it's hard. I try to write everyone and say thank you when I get something from Patreon. Christoph Dorner, I went to the Intrepid workshop this summer when I was in Brighton. It's great, and Max is super friendly. Yeah, I interviewed Max when he was going to come out with the 8x10 Kickstarter, and I found him extremely nice. And I do want to, feature him. Ghibellini and Elite also would be a great thing to see, and because he's making some different concept large format. We got Intrepid going for the budget-friendly large format, and then we have Ghibellini making engineering masterpieces by an engineer. Some people love them, some people hate them, but I think it'd be interesting to feature. So yeah, basically that's something I would love to do. I just need to find the time and the support to go and do these things. But yeah, totally down to that. You should do double exposure collaboration. You shoot a frame, send the holder to George, have him shoot it. I sent some film to George with a friend, just because I had a bunch of large format and I know he's shooting 8x10, and I thought it'd be fun that he could shoot some of it before it goes bad. I hope he gets it and I hope he enjoys it. Boom, collab from your own cities. That'd be a fun way to do it. Double exposures. I'm terrible at it and I've never tried it. Well, I've never tried it, so I'm guessing it'll be hard, but maybe. I'll also send you some double exposures Hogarth. We can do some double exposures with a Cinestill 50D, which thanks to Hogarth, I got early bird on it. Oh, you received the film. Good to know, George. Remember the notches on the Portra are a little corner, just a little cut on the corner. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, instead of being a proper notch, it's a cut, and the cut is the same way as a notch. So I hope it works for you, and there's no light leaks or anything like that. Don't shoot anything important with it, please. But yeah, guys, it's 10 o'clock and I gotta wake up at 4:30. So I'm gonna call it a day. And thank you so much for everyone to join. Thanks, Hogarth, for mentioning the Patreon. Thanks, George, for sending your support and your donation here on the Super Chat. I'll see you guys next week, and I'll be more on top of everything now that I'm back at home, back at work and everything. Yeah, thanks again. See you in the next video live. And remember, any questions you guys have, anything you doubt, whatever, just send me a message and I'll try to help you out. And if I can't, I'll let you know if I can't. Enjoy. Thank you, guys. Let me see if I know how to get out.